Welcome everyone to Audit Pros Inc. certification class. Today's segment is going to be audit paperwork, and the audit paperwork is going to be in reference to the basic and the expanded securitization audit with Affidavit. We encourage you to take good notes. It's very important. If you do this properly, it's going to speed up the process in getting the audits done. Let's get started with audit paperwork. And there are 4 sections that we're going to discuss. First is going to be the client service agreement. Then we have the audit agreement. And then the loan documents and lender notifications, along with legal and court documents. The client service agreement looks like this on your screen here to the right. And this must be submitted with every single audit file. And we're going to go over this because there are different sections. You have a client information section, terms and conditions. You have the disclaimer, product and cost, and obviously on the bottom there's a signature section. Let's break this down. The information section, this is for your client. Now you'll see 2 possible names here. We only really need one if it's a couple that bought the house. As long as we have one person filling this out, and that's all our paperwork, we are fine. You have their current address. Now, the reason why you see subject property address is it could be an investment property and they're not living there. At least try to get their mobile phone and their email as well. Now, the terms and conditions section. This is important to understand where it says here an audit can take 10 business days and as long as 5 weeks. 10 business days is not 10 calendar days. It's typically Monday through Friday and not U.S. banking holidays. They must understand that. They also need to understand that they're paying for an audit, not the results of the audit. You know, I like to tell people it's a blood test. That the results, they show nothing. You don't get money back, but you're glad. With an audit, you want them to show something. So here it's important to understand they're paying for the audit and not what the audit discovers. And most time we do find quite a bit. Can audits take longer than 4 weeks? Yeah, they can take 5 weeks. So they need to know, and sometimes even longer if it's a hidden securitization where we have to break it down and try to find it somewhere. These things happen. When you rush an audit, you're taking away from the quality. Can we rush an audit in a few days? Yes, we can. Is it going to be the best audit possible? No, it's not. And they have to understand that. And there could be a rush fee. As it says here as well, if there's a return check, there's a $25 fee for that. So this is all there, self-explanatory, and make sure you go over this with your client. And the disclaimer section as well. It's, as we just want to read this, we only recommend audits for those homeowners that are behind in payments, in foreclosure, and already lost their home to foreclosure. Now this is critical, this next part. We do not recommend audits for homeowners that are on time with their mortgage unless they are planning on seeking a quiet title action or suing the bank in some other way. We are not going to get involved with quiet title actions. If they want to do it, they're going to have to seek that on their own. I can tell you it's a headache from experience. Just don't want to get involved with it. There are attorneys that do it. There are companies that do it. I would definitely deal with an attorney if that's what they wanted to do. They have to understand this. If they want an audit and they're on time and they don't want to sue just for information purposes, that's fine. They can, but they have to understand, and this is why it's on this agreement, so they know what's going on. Product and cost. This is a typical sample with our old logo. Sometimes we still use the old logo, so we're keeping it here for this. And here's the list of the products. Now, this is the audit products. You see 4 of them. We are really thinking about dropping the level 3 audit with the stop sale feature, and that's because a lot of attorneys know how to do that now, and it's not necessary because we feel the quality of that audit may not be as good as the other audits. So why have that? But for now, it's there. It does have a stop sale feature. The basic forensic audit is $795. The basic securitization audit is $795. And the expanded with the affidavit is $1695. If there's some other type of product we're going to need in the future, for now there's an other box and you write the dollar amount. Chances are that's not going to happen, but it's there. Now let's take a look at the audit agreement. It has a section for client information, which I want to go over, lender information, which is very important, attorney information, contract is the terms, condition, and disclaimer, and then on page 2 are the items, the documentation that we need. And we're going to go through all of that. I'll break it down for you. The homeowner's information, again, you only need one homeowner if the other one's not available. It's always good to have both. The social security number is critical. Now people ask, why do you need that? We're not taking out a loan. We're not doing a credit check. We need it to get the MERS report, to see what's going on with MERS, which is Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems. It used to be you didn't need the social security number, but now you do. That's how we find out a little bit more of MERS. So explain it to them. It's not to run their credit. It's so we can get information if there's something there in MERS. And that's just going to help them. Lender information. Now this is important. I want to go through this. When you see first lender, that doesn't mean the first lender they ever got for that home 5 to 10 years ago, wherever it may be. It's their current first lender. See, people have a first mortgage and a second mortgage. Some even have a third mortgage. So this is the first mortgage with the current lender. And then you have the loan number to the right of that, the original loan amount, and the current loan balance if they know it. If they don't know it and they think they can guess near it, that's fine. Months behind, are they on time? It would be 0. 36 months, 24 months, whatever that number is goes there. The second lender. Now, we don't usually do an audit on a second mortgage, but we'll look at it and see if we find something as a courtesy. And that's like the home equity loan or the home equity line, not the second time they refinance it. And some people do that, so I want to clarify that with you. This is usually the home equity line or the equity loan of the current lender. If they don't have it, you just leave it blank. Same thing, the original loan amount, we put in the home equity loan or line just as a reminder, and the current loan balance if they have it, how many months behind, the current market value of the home. If they don't know it and they can't even guess, the taxes they get, the assessments, that's not the real market value. They can go maybe to try Zillow, ZILLOW.com. They're close, they're not exact, but we get an idea. So Zillow, ZILLOW.com. Then we want to know was the original purchase loan, or if it was ever financed, was it ever financed? Was the original purchase loan ever financed? Which means, was it refinanced? Okay, that's what people want to know. It is. That's how the auditor typed in the question, so that's how you're going to get it. Was the original purchase loan ever financed? Which means was or refinanced? Yes or no? Are you in foreclosure? Yes or no? If you're in foreclosure, this is important. Is there a sale date? Because we need to get the audit done. Some people are doing the audit to fight that sale, so we need to know that. The attorney information and the contract. Attorney information is their name, phone number, address, city, state, and zip. Right below that is a section that so many people miss. So let's go over this. You'll see it on your screen here, where it says the day and what month. You need to spell out the month, and then the year between them and our company. Okay? That's what we do. It's very simple between who they are and Audit Pros. Now, on the contract, there's a section called Section A. Those are their responsibilities. I'm not going to cover it here. You can simply read that. Then we've got Section C, which is the entire agreement, the rest of the agreement. Section B we're going to go over separately because that shows all the docs. And at the end you have the signatures and case manager information. We have that, your name, contact information, print and sign. Where it says staff, you don't sign it, that's for us to sign. So let's take a look at Section B, the items that are needed. A Form 1003 is their loan application. We need all the pages, not just the first page. There are things that we're doing. We're actually auditing that loan application. The mortgage or deed of trust, depending what state they're in. Some states there's a mortgage state, some states are deed states. If they don't have it, this is available at the courthouse. It is a public record. They may have a warranty deed. If they have that, we can use it. A signed note is preferred. If it's an unsigned note, that's okay. If they're in foreclosure, by the way, we will have the mortgage or deed of trust and the signed note and the foreclosure paperwork. But if they can get us something with a note. A lot of notes have riders, so they have a rider, we need the note rider. Some have an addendum, so we need an addendum to the note. Now, there's certain things they can't find that you have to understand. We can't audit what's not provided to us. Servicing or transfer disclosure. Sometimes it says RESPA servicing disclosure. There's different names for it. And that basically tells us the percentage of loans that they're trading, that they're selling, or transferring the servicing rights, I should say. So it will say anyone from 0 to 25%, 26 to 50%. It goes on up in increments of 25%. So we know if they're trading or selling the servicing rights, which is also a good sign of being securitized. Then there's the appraisal report. If you got that, let us know and submit it. Really, we'd like to have that. The mortgage statement from recent servicer. Who's ever servicing their loan now, they usually get a mortgage statement. If they're not paying, they may have not received one in a year or two. If they can go back and just get that, there's some very important information that we need on that mortgage statement. If they don't have it, obviously that's fine, but then it's less for us to review. Court filings, anything, all the court documents, we need that, whatever they can have, provide to you. If they're not in court yet, there's no lawsuit or lis pendens being filed, they're not going to have any court filings or documents. Disclosure statements referencing MERS. Now, some of them don't have that. In fact, sometimes MERS is referred to on the mortgage, and it's usually the first page on the mortgage on the right. An affiliate business arrangement. You may see it as an ABA. Some companies had some dealings with they were the mortgage company, the lender, and also had a partnership with a title company. Or a real estate agent had a partnership with a title company, but we're focusing more on mortgages. So that's an affiliated business arrangement. If they don't have it, we can't audit it. Any recent correspondence, default or bankruptcy notices, any of that, we need that. All information from which would be the client's current lender, including loan modification paperwork. So if they filed for a loan mod, you want to know about it. You want to know if it was approved, declined. And if they're in a loan mod, it's fine as well. Even though they say there's an indemnification clause in a loan mod, the paperwork may say that fraud supersedes that. So we can still go after them. Right? And any recent court documents they may have from their existing lender. Also, current services information and loan number. If they don't have a mortgage billing statement, then this is something we would need to get if they can provide that to us. And any court documents from the current servicer. That's all important to us. Recent transfers as well. We need all of that. We are going to check county records, but we want this. Now, here's something that's not here. And this is where you personalize this product with your client. We want them to write a letter about what they feel happened when they got their mortgage. See, there's no paperwork about that. Do they feel that they were treated improperly, misrepresented? Are there some concerns they had, things that they did? They maybe have a pay stub because they're a W-2, and then all of a sudden the loan officer said, you don't need that, we can go stated income? Well, that's a liar loan. These are things we need to know. They need to tell their story from the day of application to closing so we can look for something else. Most of our competitors never ask that. You want to do the best job for your client. Make sure they provide a brief letter. Typing is preferred. Use Microsoft Word. Handwriting is sometimes hard to read. Final steps to get everything done quick. Payment. They can mail it or they can use our bank. We have 3 different banks right now. At the time that this recording is being done, it is Bank of America, SunTrust, and BB&T are 3 operating accounts. So if they have that where they live, they can deposit. If they deposit cash, it's going to get done quicker. Otherwise, they can mail in a check if they want to do that. The paperwork, they can mail it to us, fax it, or email. And one thing I want to encourage, if they're going to email, which we prefer is email, that they do it in as minimal or the minimum amount of attachments as possible. We had one that just recently came in with over 40 attachments. The margin for error is very large there. Are we going to forget something? It's possible. So try to limit the attachments. Let them know they can put pages together. 20, 30 pages together is fine. 2 or 3 attachments should be plenty. Sometimes 1 is enough. Processing begins after the payment clears. And we have to do this because we've had checks that bounce. We've had a lot of checks that bounce. We stopped taking checks for a while. We're taking them again. There's a $25 fee that's on the client service agreement if they bounce a check. But the payment, rather I'm saying the processing starts once the payment clears. Some people call me and say, well, I've had the file in 3 or 4 days. Where is it at? Well, we're just finishing processing because you gave us a check on Friday. It didn't clear until Monday, possibly sometimes even Tuesday, usually Tuesday. So that takes time. You have to consider that. Audits take 2 to 4 weeks. They can take longer, but typically 2 to 4 weeks. Once the audit is done, we're going to email it to you, and you forward that email to the client. People ask, can we print it out? If we printed out all the audits, 600 to 1,500 pages, we'd have to raise the price because that's a lot of toner, and it would tie up our printer most of the day. It just doesn't make sense. We give it to them in an electronic format. Let your client know they're going to get their audit emailed to them in an electronic format. It's just the only way really we can do it. Otherwise, it's going to cost more, and it's going to take a long time. It just doesn't make sense because they don't need to print the whole thing out. Usually the report, if they, an affidavit if they have the expanded one, that's pretty much it. The training you've seen is the audit paperwork for the basic and expanded securitization audit with affidavit. Everything is pretty much there we covered. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what you need to do and what you need to collect from your client. Go out there, start talking to some foreclosure defense attorneys. Talk to some bankruptcy attorneys, because remember, we've got that product with the government student loans. And that's a great way to get in the door. Many bankruptcy attorneys also do foreclosure. Again, thank you for your time. You may want to watch this again. Get it down so you look like a professional. Thank you so much.